Hi, I'm Dawn and this is where Shabby meets Bling. Tonight is a big night. We are at the wedding ceremony stage. I will have some very creative friends joining me to bring to you a Shabby Chic wedding event. My design contributors tonight are Jody from Jody at Southern Seasons, Annie from Crafting with Indie Annie Jones, Monica from Up All Night DIY, and Tracy from Tracy Vanover Designs. You're going to find the links to this playlist and the entire playlist as well as their channels in the description box below. Keep in mind, this is a mock wedding. We have created a faux bride, a faux groom, faux parents, as well as faux dates and locations. I will be creating aisle decor for the ends of the aisles and a custom aisle runner. Let's get started. First up, aisle chair or pew decor. I might remember these if you saw my after Christmas sale haul video. These are burlap stockings, which I picked up at Hobby Lobby for 90% off. I believe they were like $1.39. And I thought, you know what? These things could be something more than just a Christmas stocking. I'm going to start by tracing the shape of my stocking, just the general shape, so that way I know what I'm working with. And then I'm going to customize it. I'm going to tailor it down so it looks like a beautiful little burlap bag to hang on the end of our aisles, whether they be chairs or pews. The only different thing might be is the hanger that you put on the back. And I will be using the existing hanger, but in a different way, to hang these beautiful little burlap bags. After achieving the shape I think I want, I'm cutting out my brown paper, and then I'm going to transfer this image onto cardboard to make it easier to work with. I make sure that my shape is what I want, and then I am going to just cut off the excess on either end, the toe and the little heel, and I will keep these. You guys know me. I'm going to keep these parts because I will probably I'm going to be doing something with these, let's face it. So I will keep these parts, and then I'm going to flip this thing inside out. Because of the natural slant of a Christmas stocking, I need to reshape it. So I will be using my seam ripper to remove some of the seams on either side for easier changeability, reconfiguring, repurposing, I guess. We'll go with that. While my stocking is still inside out, now I'm going to trace my cardboard shape that I'm after, just using a black Sharpie. No one is ever going to see this. It's going to be part of the seam. I create new seams, which is a little complicated because there are 2 layers here, and I don't want that inner liner showing on the exterior. So I pin everything together, nice, neat, and tidy, but I leave that little end wide open because we're going to insert something special. We are going to create a tassel. I am going to be using different components. I'm going to be using jute and 3 different types of yarn, 3 different colors actually. 2 are virtually the same and the other is a multicolor. I will be utilizing this little tassel maker, and yeah, you can make a hand. I've done it before. I'll do it again. But if you have one of these little tassel makers, it's easier to make larger tassels. Once I add all of the loops that I want to, I believe I went around 6 times, I am going to tie it off, cut it off the little frame, and then do the windy around the middle, add a drawstring, and trim my edges. Once my tassel is made, I use my little gadgets, my go-go gadgets, to insert the tassel inside the stocking and to pull it, the string part of it, through that hole that I left in the bottom. No longer stocking, I shouldn't call it that. Once I get my little loop through, then I can repin all the way around the bottom and sew it together. I am stitching this by hand because there are those 2 different layers of fabric to go through, and I don't want to impede the seams that I've left behind. The existing seams need to be there, and there's not much fabric left for my seam, so I am sewing this by hand. It's just the quickest and easiest way. Once sewn, I flip it inside out, and now I have to figure out how I'm going to decorate this cute little bag. If you remember, I thrifted this bag of runners and doilies. They are old, they are cotton, and they are crocheted. And I am going to use this one right here, as a pretty little trim to the top of my bag. That crocheted piece is a good start, but it is nowhere near finished. So now I'm using this trim, this beautiful crocheted ribbon trim from burlapfabric.com, and I'm creating just little streamers down the side. I'm also going to be incorporating all three of my yarns, as well as the jute and 2 different colors of embroidery thread to add more of our bridal colors into this project. I'm getting close to achieving the look I want, but it needs a little blingy bling. Of course it does. So I'm going to add some chic by adding some of these buttons that we've used in some of our other wedding events. Now to address how we're going to hang this beautiful little bag. As I promised, I am reusing the little tab that you would have hung your stocking by the fireplace with care. And it is hollow, of course it is. So I am just going to thread 2 pieces of wire, and they're scrap wire, so I can't tell you the gauge, but they're pretty darn structurally appropriate for our needs. It will hold our bag appropriately without bending. Once they're both in place, I am going to trim them and bend them so I have basically a U shape, and this U shape will be sewn into the back of our bag. Our bag is not just beautiful, but it's going to be utilitarian. It is going to hold these beautiful wedding programs created by Tracy Vanover Designs. All of her items that she has created for this event, that includes every episode of this Shabby Chic Wedding Event, will be curated into one cohesive, text-free collection at the end of this series. Her link is in the description box below. Next up, a personalized aisle runner for our bride and groom. This is a 36-inch by 100-yard bolt of natural burlap fabric, and it is from burlapfabric.com. And I am going to use this for a runner. The nice thing about getting a bolt this large is you can also use it for table skirting or table coverings, whatever makes you happy. I am going to try to duplicate our little slogan for this wedding, Evermore. I'm going to try to get the font that we've used onto this burlap fabric. I will be using my jute. Now, I was told by a very, very sweet viewer that this is called couching, which is an embroidery technique. I am just making a vague template. All I need is kind of the basic shape and size of the letters that I want. So I am going to be drawing out each and every letter and laying them down onto my burlap fabric. Once my template letters are complete, I need to make sure that it is straight and it is square. If this thing is going off at a weird angle, it is not going to look attractive. So I need to make sure my fabric is nice and straight, which is kind of hard to do with burlap sometimes. But I'm going to use my square, my carpenter square, and some painter's tape to make a nice straight line for me to work off of. Once I have my line to go off of, I arrange my letters and I measure both sides to make sure they're equal distance from the edge. Then I use that painter's tape to hold them in place as well. I am using 2 rolls of jute to make this happen. I am knotting the beginning of the letter, each and every one of them, and the end. And by using 2 rolls, I only have to go around my letter one time instead of backtracking. And it makes it thicker and look nicer. And now that I have it all pinned, I'll let you take a look at it. There's our template, and here is our lettering, all pinned in place. And I think I've duplicated our font pretty well. Next step is to stitch on all my letters. I am starting on the right and moving towards my left. and this is to avoid snagging my thread on my pins. We are affectionately calling this project our Substance to Us boxes. Yet another gorgeous design by Tracy Vanover. I have already printed these boxes out. I used an 80-pound white cardstock. Once I have them cut out, I'm going to need to score my lines. And I did not wish to buy a scoring board, which was $15, because I don't know how often I'm going to use it. I had it in my cart, I put it back. I had a couple other ideas in mind to score these little boxes. This is my very old generic paper cutter. And I thought, if I take out the little blade, it would just leave us with straight edges and that little trough, that indentation down the center of where the blade runs. So I'm going to try this. I don't know if it'll work. I've got a backup plan if it does not. So I am very carefully lining up that little shadow where my line is, where I need to score, and I'm using a ball tool for my sculpting supplies, and I am running my ball tool down each of these little indentations to see what happens. And I have a good feeling it makes sense this would work, right? So let's just see what happens. Get that second line there. So we'll pull it out. There's my lines. Check that out. Check that out. Let's fold it. Slick. How was that? I don't need no scoring board. This worked just fine. I finished scoring the rest of all my boxes. I fold each and every one of them, and then I am going to use a glue stick to put them together, adhere their little tabs into place. I'm using another sculpting tool with a soft edge to burnish the inside. Here they are, ready for embellishment. How gorgeous. Here I am at my local thrift shop picking up some of these beautiful little stick pins. These will make great embellishments. I found 3 stick pins with that beautiful E on it, very close to our font, Forevermore. I will be adding some Velcro closures, these beautiful buttons, and this gorgeous ribbon to embellish my boxes. Inside the boxes will go these lovely little bags from His and Hers, also on sale at Hobby Lobby. Inside that bag will go our substance for tossing post-ceremony. It is lavender. I will also be utilizing these little burlap bags on clearance from the His and Her shop at Hobby Lobby. They are not the most fabulous little bows on the front of these things. Way too much glue. You can see it, but they peel off really easy. And I bought 2 bags. I will also be using this thrifted tool that I picked up at Goodwill to decorate the wire French country basket that was also thrifted, that I will display all of my little bags and boxes in. We cannot forget corsages for the moms. On that same thrifting trip, I checked out some of the bracelets, and I found this little pearl wire bracelet, the kind that go round and round and round your wrist. I thought it resembled those pearls that we've been using for our decor from the His and Her shop at Hobby Lobby. Now these things are on clearance as well, so I did pick up everything they had left. And I thought, if you couldn't find one of these little bracelets, you could make it with one of these pearl strands. They have these everywhere. You can get them online as well, but just curve them and make your own little wire bracelet. These are what you would traditionally use for a wrist corsage, and I am going to utilize one of these with the little pearl bracelet for stability. I'm going to add it right smack dab in the middle. I will cut my Velcro down as needed, and then I will hot glue it to the bracelet. I will cover the metal with burlap. These are the pretty little flowers that I think I'm going to use in a little bunch Without that rosebud, I decided, and I do add some lavender to it. I'm taking a piece of scrap burlap to create a little wrap for my little bunch of flowers to make it look more like a bouquet. Yes, a bouquet on a wrist. And as a final touch, I will be using these little pins from the His and Her shop at Hobby Lobby. One last touch of chic. After months and months of planning, hard work, and preparation, it has all come together. You are cordially invited to a Shabby Chic wedding event. Here is a mock image of our beautiful custom aisle runner in place. Now let's take a look at it in real life. This is how it came out. Trying to mimic the text, that font, was easier than I thought it would be. And who on earth is going to have something this gorgeous? So shabby, so chic, so unique, one of a kind. Let's take a look at those beautiful programs designed by Tracy Vanover. Aren't they gorgeous? Absolutely spectacular. And see how they coordinate absolutely perfect with our little substance toss boxes. Speaking of those substance toss boxes, there they are. So easy to make and so gorgeous. I will be using these for gifts, anything I can possibly think of after the fact. And that's one nice thing without putting labels and names and dates on everything. Make it reusable. They're so gorgeous to just throw away after the fact. And you can see our little E there, that pin that I picked up thrifting, and our very inexpensive burlap bags, now absolutely spectacular. Very shabby, very chic. And an old thrifted basket to display these in outside your wedding venue. Absolutely perfect. Everything about this event has been light and airy and chic, even down to the minimal use of tulle. And just a single ply tool, just very elegant. I think we've captured the essence of shabby chic. And being unique and individual, everyone wants a different wedding than the person before them. Everybody wants to stand out. We know we do, especially if you're a bride. And for the mothers of our bride and groom, a beautiful wrist corsage. We do not want to mess up their dresses with pins. This is, in essence, a mini bouquet on a bracelet. And it is simple to make, so simple. A thrifted bracelet, very inexpensive, sale, florals, and scrap burlap. And a beautiful, beautiful button, a blingy button. Very elegant for mom. Now let's see what has become of those beautiful Christmas stockings. You can see them in two mock situations, our outdoor venue and a church venue. And let's take a look at it in real life. You would never know this was a stocking, a Christmas stocking. It has been completely transformed for another purpose. Always look at items as not what they are, but what they could be. And keep in mind, if you're looking to possibly put something in your home for decor or a wedding, you can simply use a portable graphic, a PNG, and insert it into a photo to see if you like the looks of it. I definitely like the looks of the way this beautiful little burlap bag came out. And it holds our programs so nicely. You could also fill it with florals if you choose. And remember, join me on Saturday, May 25th for the reception, episode 4. Thanks again to our design contributors, Jody, Annie, Monica, and Tracy. You will find the links to their channels as well as this playlist and the extended Bridal Fair 2024 playlist in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, share it with your family, your friends, anyone that loves weddings, is planning a wedding, or simply is into shabby chic decor. You can follow all of us on Instagram. Check out my shop on Etsy. The best way to support all of us is to subscribe. So go ahead, subscribe to everyone, leave us all comments, and let us know what you think. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.